Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Zenless Zone Zero video, and today I'm going to give you my first impressions of the Zenless Zone Zero launch. I know out there in my community, a lot of people have communicated to me that they are on the fence about whether they should try this game or not. So as I've been playing the first, we're 15 hours into the game, I've played for about 7, I've done the boomer thing and, taken some notes on paper because that's what us old folks do, and I have those. I want to share them with you, the things I've liked, the things I've not liked, so you can decide if you want to give this game a try, or if you want to pass and play, just whatever else you're playing instead. Here's my first impressions of the game. I'm going to start with my best things. Let's start on the 10 out of 10s. There are some things that this game does better than maybe any other game out there. The first one is the game aesthetic. The world that you are in, the city that you're playing in, is not very big, but it is very well done. It gives me a little bit of Persona 5 vibes where you're exploring Tokyo and you ride the subway, kind of like warping to different areas. You warp to different areas in here with your car. There are many places to visit. I haven't unlocked them all yet, but they're all really well designed. The city does feel alive to me. Maybe not like the most alive, but it's really good. I enjoy being here, and that's a big deal. If I'm going to spend time in this game, I would like to enjoy this small area that I'm in. I enjoy the shop that I run. I enjoy going to the arcade. So far, the game world, the aesthetic of the game, I would give a 10 out of 10. And then I also got to say, there hasn't been technical issues with the launch yet, and that's been refreshing. I know with like Withering Waves, I personally didn't have technical issues, but Twitter was blowing up. People were in my comment sections like, oh man, I'd love to play the game, but I just can't launch it. And the only things I've heard so far is I had a chatter last night when I was live that mentioned they had a hard time getting this to load on their phone. I could see that. Like, the game does look pretty good. If your phone is not a strong, if your phone's not a strong phone, you might have problems here. But there's a PC client. I think most PCs could handle this pretty well. It's also on PS5, so you can go play there. There's been no technical issues for me, and I haven't heard of a wider technical issue. Yes, that's how you say that. So those are my 10 out of 10s. Now, I want to go to the worst thing next. Like, if those are my best things, let me tell you what I wrote down as the worst things. The story so far has been a little slow. Now, I'm somebody who skips a lot of story in games, so this is not a deal breaker for me, and it hasn't been terrible. Like, I would give it maybe a 5 out of 10, and it seems like it's building towards something bigger. I'm into chapter 2 right now, so there's tons of room for this to grow, but it's definitely, in that style of Hoyo games, a little bit bloated. There's just, it kind of drags on a little bit, and I just want to, I want to go fight some stuff. I want to play the TV, zones, and I haven't been like super dialed in to the story yet. Chapter 1 is sort of predictable, like in how the bad guys play out. There's no big plot twist in there that you don't see coming, and I'm saying this because I don't want to get any hate for this. I know there's plenty of room for this story to grow, but so far to me, the weakest part of the game has been the story. I would give it like a 5 out of 10, with the caveat of there's a lot of skippable things. They put a skip button in, which Hoyoverse, I know that took some years off of some of your developers' lives to finally just implement a skip button. And so when I do feel like skipping some content, I can just click skip, and it also gives you a recap of what happened. If you skip 5 minutes worth of dialogue, it'll give you a paragraph of what those 5 minutes were, and that helps. Like, that keeps it at a 5 out of 10 instead of maybe like a 3 or a 4. The skip button, beautiful. Love skip buttons. Okay, now some other things. Let's go to combat next. I have heard really mixed reviews out there on the combat in this game from other people doing their first impressions. I would give combat a really solid 8 out of 10. Keeping in mind, I am not an action game veteran. The entry level to this combat feels really good. In some games, I feel like there's too many buttons I need to push too fast, and especially if I'm playing on a PC, I have like my mouse buttons, and I have a few buttons my fingers can do, but I'm not dexterous enough to be constantly hitting like 1-4 E F R right click. Like, whoa, that's too much for me. This game, you only have a few buttons you need to push. Often the timing of which you push those buttons is more important than the order you push them in, at least earlier. I have found it very welcoming to me as not a hardcore action player or like a fighting game player. I also see how there are levels to it. There's team building aspects to this game that are really important that will expand more as we go through the game. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't even unlocked all of the different like gears and equipments and things like that. I'm really only building one team right now, and I'm forced into that team because I haven't spent any money. Like I'm trying to focus my resources on my one S rank character, and I'm loving it. She's actually kind of hard to play, and it's a challenge, but it's not too much of a challenge. And I have fun when I do the combat. 8 out of 10. It's not the best thing I've ever done, but I would prefer turn-based or tactical combat. But this is an action game, so 8 out of 10 is about as good as I would do. Character design. Here's one that I have seen some really dumb takes on, in my opinion. The character design in this game is really good. The male MC, super bland looking. Like, I like to play as male main characters in my games. I couldn't make myself do it here. I went with the female. She looks way better. But like the actual, in-game units, I would give that another 8 out of 10. My only complaint is that some of the S rank units maybe don't look special enough. Like maybe they don't look a lot better than the A rank units, but the A rank units look really good. So maybe a little blandness for the S ranks, but all of the characters, there's a wide variety of characters in this game. They match the aesthetic of the city. Like this is very anime feeling to me. I'm an anime fan. I've loved the character aesthetic. Character design, 8 out of 10. Again, I like looking at this world. I like looking at these characters. Good job there. Okay, TV world. This was one of the most controversial things in Zenless Zone Zero from the beta. It's something that I liked in closed beta 1. As I'm playing through the launch version of the game, they have made some changes to try to make it appeal more to a wider audience. Here's my thought on it. I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10 right now. It could be a lot better. I enjoy the puzzle part of it. There's always puzzles in like Koyo gacha games, and some of them, especially Honkai Star Rail, is full of puzzles that I hate. Like the one where you have to move the mirror and turn the blocks so Clocky can run. I hate that. Like just give me the dang reward. Like let me auto fix that clock. I just don't enjoy that puzzle. There's other puzzles in that games that I do like. The puzzle piece one where you just fix the picture, that feels like a part of the world. Like look, it's a portal into something else and you fix it. That's fun. Here, I understand the idea of the TV world. I like the idea of the TV world, but you can't, they put like a fast forward skip feature in, but it doesn't really skip. It just kind of really awkwardly fast forward, and you get clips of like what people are saying, but not the whole thing. And it feels kind of clunky. That I don't like. And it kind of like, if you have to like restart one of the levels because maybe you didn't do it perfectly, it does, you'd have to watch all that again. And I just haven't, that's thrown a kink in it for me. So yeah, I give it like a 6 out of 10. If they could fix the fast forward feature, it becomes like a 7 out of 10 again. I still enjoy it. It's not like I hate it. It's just, maybe I understand a little bit more of why some other people didn't like it. 6 out of 10. Okay, difficulty of the game. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I was worried about the difficulty because, like I've admitted to, I am not a great player of these games, and the developers have said they tried to make the difficulty level very accessible early, hoping that players would like grow with the game. And I feel that, like, I can see that there is some depth to the combat, but right now I can take a new character, go into the training area, learn what they're basically supposed to do. Like, I'm imagining even making guides for these characters someday, which is something I didn't think I could do with an action game. So that appeals to me as a content creator, and it's probably why this is like a 9 instead of an 8 or a 7. But I like the flow of combat. It's not as like fast paced as some other games. Like there's downtime in the combat, but I don't hate that. Again, if you're a turn-based player, if you're like a strategy game player, downtime is not necessarily awful. It gives you a minute to kind of think and process. I don't have a 18-year-old brain. I have a 39-year-old brain. So I kind of need that time. I've The difficulty is 9 out of 10. Like, and I'm playing on challenge mode, by the way. If I was playing on casual mode, maybe it would feel a little too easy, but it gives you the challenge mode option. And in any game that I play, any RPG, if they give me hard mode, I just play it. So that's my thoughts there. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And then desire to spend money in the game. I've spent $0. I will probably someday buy like the battle pass or something, like the daily login reward pass, something like that. But I have felt no pressure to do that now. I know how Hoyo games kind of work with how they give you enough materials to essentially build like your starting team. And then if you want to branch outside of that, you're going to need to be farming more than the energy you have every day. So I haven't felt a need to be like pulling a whole bunch of new characters, and pulling is what I like to spend money on. So I'm not pulling at all right now, except for the free handout tickets that they're giving. I haven't felt a need to do more. We'll see if that changes, but so far as a free-to-play experience, I don't know, feels just like it feels fine. Like if I was paying, I would just have a few more characters, but there's no reason for me to have more characters right now. So a very good experience for free to try the game out. We'll see how much the pinch for money happens when like new characters start coming out, because Hoyo's good at making money. I'm sure they'll find a way to milk some out of me and everybody else. Okay, those are my overall impressions from day one. Really enjoying it, gonna keep playing it, gonna keep covering it. I want to play through the game to the point where I can start making some like character combat guides. I don't know if those will be like huge hits on my second channel. And by the way, subscribe to my second channel, guys. If you like the Zenless Zone Zero stuff, subscribe to my second channel. I'm trying to grow that thing. I'd like to hit like 1,000 subs by the time school starts back up. Growing a second channel, hard to do. And I'm really experimenting with some of this combat, especially if I start making guides for like an action game. That'll be a whole new thing for me. Okay, thank y'all for watching. Let me know how you are enjoying or not enjoying Zenless Zone Zero, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.